welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be like Groundwork 101. I'm going to go through some of my favourite groundwork exercises to gain respect and confidence. I don't really agree with saying groundwork teaches control of the horse, because you're not trying to control your horse, you're trying to work with them. I'm going to use two different horses for this. I'm going to use Flash, who groundwork with pretty much every day. And I'm also going to use Spider. He's a 3-year-old, or nearly 4, new to the grazing, and his owner has just asked me to install some ground manners because she's not very confident. She doesn't know a lot. Yeah, I'll get her to film what I'm doing with Spider, and then I'll try set you up to see what I'm doing with Flash, because I won't have anyone to film me when I'm doing Flash. But yeah, I can't stress the importance of groundwork. So I've been walking for like 20 minutes and I'm tired. And me personally, I know a lot of good riders who don't prioritize groundwork, and on the ground when they're dealing with their horses, it's kind of a hot mess. Not naming anyone, but so you're never too experienced to do groundwork. It may seem something that people do when they break in horses. I went to a clinic with Drumgool Natural Horsemanship for 3 days. High-level dressage rider who did groundwork aspects and incorporated riding. So what you learn on the ground, you can adapt to what you do in the saddle. Mabs, can you see the umbrella? Stress that it's not just groundwork. It's not just you on the ground with your horse getting them to do what you want. Isn't that right, Flash, you wish? There's a bonfire! You see the bonfire? I used to be quite bad at loading, and it was a respect as well as a confidence thing. He didn't have the confidence to go into the float by himself, but he didn't respect me enough when he was getting flustered. He would walk all over me, he would rear, he would strike out. He would become quite dangerous when we were loading him. To get Dave Jones out to help me, really experienced, really patient. He solved it for me. Flash started walking on the float by himself. Then we hit another stage where Flash stopped going on the float again, and that came down to a respect thing. He didn't respect me enough to go into the float. So worked on groundwork, sending out, now we soft loads. It annoys me when I don't see people prioritizing groundwork. Like, yeah, riding is one aspect of having horses, but if you can't get your horse to softly back up with his head at the floor, or calmly go out on a circle, or he gets in your space and you think it's cute, like, it's a respect thing. I respect when Flash stays out of my space. He respects when I leave him alone. It's a mutual thing. He's not rubbing up against me. He's not coming into my space without me asking. Of course, we have those times when I let him come in for a little snuggle, but at the end of the day, he's a horse. He could step on me, it could hurt. There has to be boundaries, and groundwork just helps solidify those. Okay, so I've just decided to voice over this part. As you can see in these clips, I'm getting Spider to do a turn on the forehand, so that means he's crossing his back legs over. And in this clip, we're just working on some leading. He's 3, so he's not particularly good with it. Sometimes when you stop, he walks ahead of you. So what I'm doing is just walking, and then I stop, and if he walks ahead of me, I just back him up a little bit to show him that if he doesn't stop with me, then he's going to have to back up, which no horse really wants to do. But yeah, the funny thing about horses is they're always trying to find the easiest way out, so if you want to make them do the work, then they'll learn quickly, and then if they don't do that, they don't have to do the work. Yeah, we're just keeping on going. I think and this I had him in a circle, and then I turned him to disengage his hind. This just as a respect thing. It takes the power out of his hind, gets him listening to me. You can see it better there. Give him lots of scratches once he's done. Okay, now on to Flash. So, same as Spider, we're doing turn on the forehand. Flash is better at it. He's just crossing his hinds under. I don't release as much as I do with Spider, just because Flash knows what he's doing. Having a little back up there, he's really good with it, backing up with his head at the floor. This is his other side. He's not as good at this side. He finds it a bit harder to cross his hinds under, but we've been working on it a lot lately, and he's been having some really good moments.
So I just wait until I get a nice solid crossover. You can see he's really crossing under and stepping under himself, so this is not only good for groundwork, but it's also really good for their core. Backing up, I like to back up with flash. I find it's just the way I like doing it. I don't like him backing up to rope pressure. He can do it, but I prefer backing up with him. Lowering to pole pressure, this is a respect thing. I do it when I bridle him, for him to bridle himself. Backing up again here, this is him backing up to pressure. He does it well. I just prefer backing up with him. Sending him calmly out in a circle, walking over some raised poles. This is a really good core strengthening exercise. They were a little bit far apart because they were used for a 16 3-hand horse and Flash's 15 hands, so later on in the video I do move them closer to make it a bit easier for Flash. This is a turn on the forehand. He's disengaging his hind. This is basically your one rein stop when you're riding. If there's an accident, if your horse bolts, you pull on your one rein, disengages their hind. This is what they're doing. Flash walking. Oh, he has a little trot there. I think I dropped the rope there. Okay, I don't punish him for that. He just had a little moment. We continue doing what we were doing before he did that. Just again going over the poles. I've put this in slow motion here so you can really see how he crosses over. Really steps under himself and moves his hind away from me.
Okay, I'm probably gonna do a voiceover of the groundwork. Little 3-year-old Nola in the background. In some of the clips I do use a dressage whip, and that's mostly just to be an extension of my arm, especially when it's turn on the forehand, moving his hind away from me. I don't want to get up all in his space by his bum, especially Spider, because he kicks sometimes, just because he's young. I'm totally editing right now. I forgot to give a summary of how the groundwork went today. So at Spider, what we were working on today was mostly turn on the forehand. That's when he was crossing his hind legs over. He gets kind of stuck in his feet and doesn't know what to do. As for Flash, we were doing a lot of walking over raised poles today. That's just good core strengthening exercise, and we are focusing on turn on the forehand, crossing his hind legs over, and staying up in his shoulders, because sometimes he can drop his shoulder and then shuffle his back feet over. So we were just really working on him keeping his shoulders turning on a tiny circle and getting his hind, and that automatically brings his hind a lot more under him. And sometime next week I'll film a more in detail video on how I actually started teaching the groundwork exercise. This was more me showing my favourite exercises and what they look like, filming a more in detail video of how I do them and how that incorporates into the riding aspect as well. What are you doing?